This is going to be tough to talk about, but, you know, here goes. Perks of Being a Wallflower has been a book that's been on my radar for quite a few years. I've just never actually sat down and read it until this past week. And so all of these emotions and thoughts are just bubbling up into my feels right now. It is an epistolatory novel, which if you've ever read Dracula, you'll know exactly what that means. Meaning that the story is told through actual letters that people are writing to one another. The main character is Charlie, an introverted freshman to high school who's really trying to get over the death of his friend from a year ago, and also some other stuff that's happened in his past that we only get hints at throughout the novel, but we know that it's something pretty dark. Here's the thing, I think I am Charlie, or Charlie is me, whichever way you want to look at that. I understand his introvertedness, I understand his quest for friends, his not understanding how some social conventions work. I get how his internalization of blame happens, and even his flashes of violence when things just become too much. I get all of those things. Charlie is this deeply damaged main character, and because of his role as an unreliable narrator in this book, we only get like snippets and snatches of things that have happened in his life. We kind of have to build and fill in the gaps as we kind of read through the novel. But when it all comes crashing down, we get this that sickening feel in the pit of your stomach, meaning like, oh, I should have seen this for what it was the entire time. Everything is obvious once it's spelled out for you, and all you can do is sit there and say, I don't know why I didn't see this in time. And there's so much I don't want to spoil, so that's about the main gist of the plot that I really want to give away here at this point. Stephen Chbosky, wrote the book, and he did such a fantastic job. Now here's where it's going to get a little real. I'm going to spoil one thing about the book. So I'm going to put a little spoiler tag at the top here, and you can fast forward to where there is no more spoilers left. So in the film, it's very explicitly stated that his Aunt Helen character has been molesting him, or was molesting him, before she died in her car crash. It's hinted at in the book, and it's not, I don't find it very explicitly said this is exactly what happened. You kind of made to feel like, oh, this is probably what happened in this case. And it's another thing that I really understand with Charlie. It is easy, it's super easy to start blaming yourself in those situations, and it's something that Charlie as a character is going to have to deal with for the rest of his life. It's not something that you kind of just get over. It's something that's going to affect you months and years and decades after it actually happens. And I know that in my case, it's something that I think about on a pretty regular basis too. So it's not something that you can kind of just brush off and let leave your mind. With all the other stuff that Charlie is going through as well, I understand that feeling of dread in the pit of his stomach, the feeling that it's always his fault when he gets into certain situations. It's hard to break yourself out from that. It doesn't feel cheap is what I'm saying. It just all works. I've shared a lot of stuff with people these last couple of weeks, so this is interesting. Yeah, end of spoiler tag. I loved this book. I can't even express to you, probably in words, succinctly, and with enough passion, how much I loved reading this book. I love the entire experience of it. I love the movie that was based on the book. I think that they just hit everything right. It feels very real and visceral, and even though I understand that there's a lot of stuff that probably teenagers didn't do in the 90s, but it feels like it's something that could happen. And I think that's what books are great at. It's not an actual slice of life all the time. It's something that feels like it could actually happen. These characters feel like people that I'd want to talk to or get to know. I don't think that I'm overblowing it when I say that I don't think that this is just one of the best young adult books that have ever been written. I think it's one of the best books that have ever been written in the English language, bar none. I think it is fantastic. It is an easy recommendation of anyone, again, who is mature enough or their reading level is high enough, from 14 and above. Like, I think age 14 and above would get something out of this book. As more of an adult, I think I might actually get more out of it now that I've kind of gone through some life-growing things. This is what it's going to do. It's going to give you access to a great story. It has great writing in it. It's also going to open up your eyes to some great music, some great novels. But overall, it's the Charlie character that I just really love. I just want to go and give him a hug. That's all I really want to do is like, I love you, Charlie, so much. He's not fighting devils. He's not fighting monsters or international spies. It's something much more insidious. It's internalized guilt. It's good to remember that sometimes we are all infinite. And I think I should just keep reading some of my favorite passages as we fade in with some indie rock music, and this all fades to black. Dear friend, I am writing to you because she said you listen and understand and didn't try to sleep with that person at the party even though you could have. Please don't try to figure out who she is, because when you try to figure out who I am.
We were soldiers